Hello, my name is Lo, and I am currently in lockdown, week 5. As you can see, I am in a different place. I am in my new room that I have moved to, and I will give a quick little tour of my room at the end of this video. But before that, let's just jump right into what I did during lockdown this week. And I'll link my past lockdown lowdown videos below if you are interested in catching up on what I've been up to before this week. On Monday, I read a bit and then I journaled a bit while on the phone with my friend, which is something that we're trying to get in the habit of doing every week or so. To be honest, neither of us were in a particularly great mindset at that point while we were journaling, so our entries are not particularly happy, but I think it was still hopefully good to get those feelings out. After that, I called another friend of mine and we talked a lot about spirituality and acceptance of your place in your life and how to support other people when we ourselves are struggling as well. And then after that call, I did journal even more on that topic, and I think I did come to some realizations about myself and about my role with my friends and how I can support myself and my friends. So I think that was a really healing moment and hopefully can provide some clarity going forward. On Tuesday, I didn't really do too much, just stayed in late, outlined a bit for a future video, but didn't get too much actual stuff done. And then I packed up a bit in preparation for moving because I was supposed to be moving into my new place on April 22nd, so the next day. On Wednesday, I woke up early and went to the supermarket and then ate some vegan desserts. And then I got back to the flat and packed up and started cleaning everything. But honestly, by that point, I was so tired and just did not have the energy to move, so I just took a nap instead of actually moving. On Thursday, I finished up everything I hadn't done before, finished packing, finished cleaning. I didn't know what to do with the finished puzzles that were still on the floor, so I put paper under sections of it and then lifted them up and put those sections into the box so that when I get to my new place, I can rearrange it easily without having to redo the entire puzzle. And then I got an Uber. I wanted to take public transport, but it would have taken an hour and a half each way, and I had too much stuff for a single trip, so it would have just taken all day. So I just got an Uber and packed all my stuff in, and it was like about a half-hour drive to my new place. And I met my new housemates and settled in. Luckily, the house had a bed frame and mattress, but I didn't have any sheets, so my housemates and I went to a Kmart nearby and I bought some sheets and blankets and stuff like that for my bed, and also a couple other odds and ends that I would be needing. And yeah, I set up a bunch of stuff in my room and spent my first night in my new place. On Friday, I continued settling in. I rearranged my room a little bit. And now that everything in my room is more or less in the correct place, I'll give a little tour. Welcome to my room. Obviously, my bed and my laptop, which actually I'm editing the video that this is about to go into. We got crystals and candles and a little postcard up there. My bedside table with all my rings, other books that I'm currently reading, and then this lamp where I can do that if the light is too harsh. In these drawers I have just random odds and ends and all the books and other decorations and stuff that I'm not currently using or reading. And then next to it, I have my stash of soy milk containers and books that I've already read. And then here is where most of my clothes are. Dirty clothes go in my suitcase there, and I have this for my other clothing, shoes, bags, and just other stuff that I don't need right now. And then I've got this really cute windowsill, so I keep some plants and avocado that I'm trying to ripen on there, broccoli that I'm trying to grow, and then just jars with other plants. And this jar has some snails in it because I love snails. And this is a little note that my housemates left on my bed for when I arrived here. And I keep my guitar in that corner. I'm thinking about moving it to somewhere a little more accessible because I haven't played it since I got here, and maybe that's why, or maybe it's just the executive dysfunction. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This is where I'm going to be living for the next 5 or 6 months or so. And then I got to know my new housemates a little bit. We had a long conversation about like queer representation in media, boundaries about roommates stuff, being in university, TV shows we all like. They're both really, really cool, and we all have a lot in common. So it was really nice to kind of get to know them a little bit more and feel a little more integrated into the house. The next day on Saturday, I wasn't feeling too great. I stayed in bed pretty much all day until like 5 p.m., just watching YouTube videos and scrolling on Facebook and stuff like that. All I really did that day was take a shower and make some soup. And then on Sunday, I had to get some groceries, so my housemate let me borrow her bike to go to the Preston market, which is about 2 miles away, so not too bad. But I realized immediately as soon as I got on the bike, number one, I haven't biked in forever and I haven't done any physical activity in forever and my muscles are not ready for this. And number two, I realized I would have to bike on the left side of the road, which honestly, okay, it wasn't as difficult to switch in my brain as I was expecting it to be, but it was still just a little off-putting. And I just constantly felt a little uncomfortable, and whenever a car came even somewhat close to me, I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. But obviously I'm fine. I made it. We're good. And at the Preston Market, they have a ton of fresh fruits and veggies. I got a coffee as well. And they also have a little alleyway where there's a bunch of people with fresh fruits and veggies in like bags that they're selling for really, really cheap. So I ended up getting a bag of like 8 or 9 tomatoes for $1. I got like a bunch of cilantro for $1. I got a bunch of green beans for $1. I got half a cantaloupe for $1.50. Like really, really good deals. I didn't film any of it though because honestly it was just very hectic. There were a surprising number of people. There were a lot of people shouting and I just didn't have enough hands or enough attention span to be able to pull out my phone and take any videos, but next time I will. And then I got home and immediately realized like, what am I gonna do with these 8 tomatoes that I don't actually need? So I made a pasta sauce out of them. And that's honestly pretty much all I did for this week. In terms of my reflections, this week was somewhat difficult for me. I think I'm kind of losing steam. I spent the first part of lockdown really excited about all of this stuff I was going to do, and I was actually pretty good at getting most of it done, or at least setting the groundwork for getting it done. But I think, part of it is just the stress of being in lockdown does weigh on you. Part of it is that I did just transition to being in a new place. And I think a lot of those good routines and habits that I was starting to build at that flat, I'm kind of having to start back over in this new place. I didn't really work on any new videos during this week. I didn't write or practice any music. I spent multiple days just mostly sleeping. I forced myself to do what I had to do in order to move, but it was a lot more difficult to get that stuff done than it was in the beginning of lockdown. And yeah, I am happy to now be in a new house with people who I'm getting along with, and having that social interaction is definitely a positive thing. But I don't know, dude, I'm just really tired of lockdown. I just want to go to a concert. I want to sit down at a cafe. I want to sit down at a Lentil as Anything and make a new friend. I want to have a conversation that doesn't revolve around coronavirus. I want to be able to talk to people without just these depressing undertones to every conversation. I want to get a job again and have an income source so that I don't have to be so stressed out about money. I want to look at a person or a thing and not see it as an existential threat to my safety and public safety. I just want to put myself and my friends in this big virus-free bubble and continue on with our lives in a way where we're all happy and we're all healthy and we don't have to worry about this horrible, horrible thing that just won't stop. I just really, really want it to be over. And it just sucks that the only thing any of us, well, most of us, can be doing right now to help is just staying inside and dealing with it. That's the reality of it, and it sucks, and it's gonna continue to suck no matter how many puzzles I do, or how much food I cook, or how many videos I make. I keep trying to distract myself from it, but it sucks. Those distractions aren't really working anymore, and it just sucks. And I keep trying to remind myself that it's going to end, it will end, and we will go back to some type of normal. I mean, our normal is probably going to be very different than what it was before, and we don't know what that's going to look like. I hope that we can learn something from this about interconnectivity, like I talked about last week, and see all of these social problems that have been exposed by coronavirus. And I hope that we can integrate those learnings into our new normal so that we all end up better than we were before. But I don't know if that's gonna happen. The future is still very unclear, very uncertain. And that's very stressful to me. And I think all of this uncertainty is going to leave a lasting impact. I mean, people about my age were young children during the financial crash of 2008 and young adults during a pandemic. So I think it's kind of understandable that a lot of us are very jaded and very anxious, and we're going to carry that with us even after the pandemic itself ends. We're still going to be sad. And I try to stay happy and stay positive and spread positivity, but I'm just not feeling that right now. All I want to do is sit in bed all day and watch TV and ignore the world. And I mean, that might help in terms of social distancing, but in the long term, when it comes to all of these social problems, that's not going to help anybody. But I don't know what else to do. I don't know what I can or should be doing to make myself feel better, to help other people feel better. I just don't know. So, I mean, that's where I'm at. And that might not be the healthiest of mindsets, but it's the one I'm in right now. And I try to end these videos with some kind of positive message, but I don't know how I can do that without making it feel incredibly just fake and forced. So I guess the best I can do is to say that if you are also feeling this immense hopelessness and existential crisis, you're not alone. I don't know if that is going to help anybody, but that's the best I can offer right now. So thanks for watching. Sorry to end that on a kind of depressing note, but that's the reality of it. I'll upload another video about week 6 soon, so stay tuned for that. Bye. Oh, and do you like the shirt I'm wearing? Queen of Vacation, because I'm accidentally on vacation for several more months than I was ever expecting to be.